the 7th of July, Rabbi Furst, Pierke Avos. No, I don't think so, Roy. I think we're going to talk about the curse of Chava.
Oh, okay. All right. And so we need
I
to.
love you, Maury.
Good morning, Rabbi Furst.
Good morning, McMahon. Good morning, Lindsay. Good morning.
Good morning, Rabbi Furst.
Good morning, Roy. How's everyone today?
Baruch Hashem.
Okay. Fine. Good morning, everyone. This is Rabbi Shlomo Furst Yeshiva Tzamanafi here in Yerushalayim, Carib Zoom. This is our first year this morning. We're going to be entering into a new journey of discovering the insights that we can understand of Torah. We'll be trying to understand a little bit about the ramifications and consequences of the Chet Adam Rishon v'Chava. Maybe we'll have a chance to get involved with the Nachash a little bit also. So in order to start things off, I think the first and best way to begin is maybe we'll take a look, if you have a Chumash Bereshis, with maybe Rashi, but I think it's worthwhile taking a look at the Psukim, right? Because that's going to be the big of everything we'll be learning. We're learning some Gemaras, we're learning some Chazals. So they're all going to be based on prerequisite knowledge of the Torah itself. So if we take a look at the Psukim here in the Parsha of Bereshis, so we'll have a background to begin. So that'll begin in Bereshis. Yes. I think it's in Pierke Gimel. Pierke Gimel.
Pasuk Aleph?
Okay, why not? We can learn the whole. I don't mind learning the parsha a bit. Let's just reacquaint ourselves with the whole of the parsha. But the main thing is we're going to be learning the psukim toward the end. But we can begin with the parsha. Pasuk Aleph if you like. Right?
So sorry, I missed that.
Yeah, Pierke Gimel, chapter 3, Pasuk Aleph.
Thank you.
So should I just read the English or you want me to read the Hebrew?
Yeah, I think read the English to begin with. Once we'll get to the Hebrew as we get closer to the actual psukim we want to concentrate on, I think.
Okay. Now the serpent was more cunning than any beast of the field that Hashem God had made. He said to the woman, "Did perhaps God say, 'You shall not eat of any tree of the garden?' The woman said to the serpent, 'Of the fruit of the tree of the garden we may eat. Of the fruit of the tree which is in the center of the garden, God has said, 'You shall not eat of it, and you shall not touch it, lest you die.'"
So you see here that there was the eating of the from the Eitz Das was connected to a decree of Misa. Okay, the decree of Misa. So that was mentioned right at the very beginning. Okay.
Right.
Okay, the question comes up right away.
Sure. Go ahead, Elizabeth.
Okay, now Hashem told Adam and Chava not to eat of the tree.
Right.
And she said not to eat and not to touch.
Yeah, we'll get to that with the Nachash.
Now,
Yeah.
isn't that in the area of a geder, that we
Right.
put gedarim up to keep
That's
away
right.
from doing, and
Right.
yet she fell because of that.
Right. So if I'm not mistaken, there are three. I think there are three drachim in what happened here. Did Adam Rishon make this getter and tell it to Chava? Did Chava make the getter herself, right? Or there was one other mahalach which I've forgotten exactly how they learned pshat, right?
What's Gedder mean?
A getter is
Fence.
a fence, right?
Is a
Siag
what, a
l'Torah,
fence?
siag.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
The Mishnah Avos, the Mishnah in the beginning of Pierke Avos says also sayeg l'Torah. It's a mitzvah. It's a mitzvah. You should make fences around the Torah. There is a definite and many of the halachas and things that we keep are based on simply safety precautions, fences and safety zones designed that we shouldn't even come close to doing the deraisa to protect us. So it seems like it's a good thing. Right? It seems like a good thing. So I think what Eliezer Tzvi is bringing up here, that if in fact the making of this fence proved to be detrimental, so how we understand? How are we supposed to understand that? It could be that that's the whole point. Meaning the fence that you have. The fence that you have is only as good as your obeying the fence. I mean, if you have a fence and you break the fence, so the fence is not a fence anymore, right? So it could have been a good thing, and that's why we'll see, if I'm not mistaken, the Nachash actually pushed Hava into the tree. She didn't,
Right.
So that was his ploy to prove to Chava that, well, if because again, it was never said if you touch the tree you'll die. That wasn't the fence, right? You want to make a fence, don't touch the tree. Fine, you can make a fence, don't touch the tree, but you can't say if you touch the tree you'll die. I mean, if you want, I mean, the Rabbanan, you could make a decree like that if you want, right? But that was not the statement from a Kadosh Baruch Hu.
Sure,
Right?
sure.
Right. So that was where the Nachash had his opportunity to gain the confidence of Chava.
Okay.
He said, look, you touched it and you didn't die. Right. So who says if you eat it, you're going to die as well. Right. So that was what gave the Nachash his opportunity to get Chava to go along with his idea about what's going to happen here. Right. But I think the fence is only as good as it is if you're going to obey the fence. You're going to be protective and watchful of the fence. But if you're going to ignore the fence, there's no fence there. But then the going one extra thing, that was the criticism to say that you actually die, and that was a question. Did Adam Rishon, if Adam Rishon said to Chava, you shouldn't touch the tree, did he also say you're going to die, or was that an inference that Chava made? So on that different, I think in the Rishonim, maybe I'm not sure in Chazal, but in the Rishonim, I think they go into different opinions about exactly what happened here. Yeah.
Okay.
Is eating and touching repetitious? You shall not eat of it, neither shall you touch it. Are they the same things?
No,
You can touch without eating it.
But if you eat it, then you've touched the tree.
That's true.
Yeah,
But the command was only not to eat. Hashem tells Adam and Chava not to eat.
Right.
Okay. Anything about touching was an addition that either Adam or Chava made.
No,
So
okay.
should I read the Rashi?
You could read the Rashi. Can you make your microphone a bit louder? It's a little bit low for me to hear you, Lou.
Says you shall not touch it.
Right.
Rashi says, you shall not touch it. She added to the commandment. Therefore, she came to detraction, i.e., she detracted from God's words. She violated the prohibition. This is the idea of that which it says, do not add to his words.
Right.
So this Rashi seems to be saying that it was her addition.
Right. you can learn the basic meaning of Rashi is that she was the one who added it, or it could be that maybe she heard it. You could say that she heard it from Adam Rishon, and when she said it to the Nachash, she was adding on the addition that she heard from Adam Rishon as well. But this Pashtus in Rashi is that Achava was the one that added the restriction of not touching.
Okay, but if that's true, then what we said about the Nachash pushing her would not work, because if she added it herself, she would know that touching was not stated.
Right. So that's why you have other opinions that say that she wasn't the one that added it. She heard it from Mother Marisha.
Right.
And she shouldn't have known. Exactly. Right.
Right.
Very
Okay.
good. Very good.
The serpent said to the woman, "You shall not surely die, for God knows that on the day you eat of it, your eyes will be opened, and you will be like God, knowing good and bad."
Right, so now this is a very bad thing. The Kodesh Baruch Hu said that there would be like this, and the Nachash comes to contradict that. That's a very bad thing.
Right. I'm just okay, fine. I was just checking my microphone.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's much better now. It's much better.
Oh, good. And the woman saw that the tree was good for eating, and that it was a delight to the eyes, and that the tree was desirable for comprehension. And she took of its fruit and ate. And she gave also to her husband with her, and he ate. And the eyes of both of them were opened, and they realized that they were naked. And they sewed together a fig leaf and made themselves aprons.
Right. So it's worthwhile. Take a look at the Rashi here. The Rashi's here in Pasuk Vav, the Tera Isha.
Okay, and the eyes of both of them were opened. Regarding the matter of wisdom, did the verse speak, and not regarding the matter of actual sight. And the end of the verse proves this. And they realized they were naked. Even the blind man realizes when he is naked. But what is meant?
Actually, I go to the sixth parak, the Tera Isha first before we do this. Right.
Oh, I'm sorry. You said Vav, and I did Zion. Okay.
Okay. It's okay.
And the woman saw the words of the serpent, i.e., she was convinced by them, and they appealed to her, and she believed him, that the tree was good to cause one to be like God, and that it was a delight to the eyes, as he had said to her, your eyes will be opened. And
I mean, first of all, it's from our point of view, it seems a little bit silly. I mean, you're gonna eat from a tree and you're gonna become like God. I mean, that's pretty. If that was someone selling out on the street corner, you probably wouldn't buy it, would you?
I would say selling snake oil.
No pun intended.
Okay. But we can't judge and we can't understand the magnitude of the Nesoyan. It takes a lifetime of work to try and understand what they had to face and what were they up against here. In any event, let's continue.
Yeah, it seems that as amazing as it sounds, it seems that the pasuk is saying that it was true, that what the serpent said was true, because her eyes were opened.
Yeah,
both their eyes were opened.
Right. And as it stands, the pasuk only says "Ki Elokim," like it doesn't say actually. The chafadimian is it's that you're approximating it, you're simulating it to some extent, right? That it's like saying the shadow of a person is like the person, right? The shadow of the person, it has in a very limited sense, it has something to do with the person, but it's very, very far from what the person actually is. And as much as we say that we're Tselem Elokim, or what the Nachash was trying to achieve here, and what possibly was actually happening there with Ki Elokim, it would be far less than the association of a shadow to the object that it's actually a shadow of.
Right.
But even that's something. It's something. Yeah. Okay.
And that the tree was desirable for comprehension, as he said to her, knowing good and bad. And she also gave to her husband with her, so that she should not die and he survive to marry another.
Oh, so you see here, and this I want to mention this specifically here because this is going to touch into the fact of the nida that was going to be one of the curses, and the tsar leda that was going to be one of the things that you see that, as Rashi's pointing out, there was a after Chava realized what she did wrong, she realized what she did wrong, so she gave Adam the aid. So the question is that, and that's some discussion as well, whether Adam actually knew he was eating from the Eitz Hadas or not. Did she give it to him, and he had a free will choice of eating from it or not? That there's a little bit of a discussion about that, if I'm not mistaken. Okay.
Okay, that's interesting. Also, to include every animal and beast. What is that also? Oh, she gave also to her husband, meaning she gave also to her husband and all the animals?
1 minute.
It references Bereshis Rabbah 19:6.
Okay, 1 second.
Says that the word gum may be understood to include cattle and beasts.
Apparently that's what's going to be. The Rabbos behema v'chaya. So the question is, why was it given to the behema v'chaya?
I'm going to get my Bereshis Rabbah.
Yeah. Right. The Sifsei Chachamim explains briefly, Im lo kein lama knasa alei misa. Why do animals and creatures have to die? Meaning, the way the Sifsei Chachamim is explaining it, the Yam, right, that Rashi explains is coming to include animals and creatures. So since they were given to eat and they also ate, so therefore they were also now in the gezerah of Misa. But if they hadn't eaten, they would not have been in the gezerah of Misa. So apparently, so that needs explanation. Why did she give the animals to eat as well? Let them live forever. What's the big deal? What's the big deal?
Excuse me.
Hello?
Okay, so it's 19:6. Okay, should I read you from Bereshis Rabbah?
Sure, okay.
And the eyes of them were both opened. Were they then blind? Rabbi Judan, in the name of Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai, and Rabbi Berechiah, in the name of Rabbi Akiva, explained it by comparing them to a villager who was passing a glassworker's shop, and just when a basket full of goblets and cut glassware was in front of him, he swung his staff around and broke them. Whereupon he, their owner, arose and seized him, saying to him, I know that I cannot obtain redress from you, but come and I will show you how much valuable stuff you have destroyed. Thus he showed them how many generations they had destroyed. That's not relevant. Where's the, we're looking for,
Gam Rabos Kol Bechem Bechaya. 1 second.
we're looking for the thing about beasts. I don't see a thing about beasts here. Let's see.
Let's take a look here.
Oh, here it is. Also is an extension. She gave the cattle, beasts, and birds to eat of it. All obeyed her and ate thereof, except a certain bird named Chol, phoenix. As it is written, then I said, I shall die with my nest, and I shall multiply my days as the whole. In Eov, the school of Rab Janai and Rab Judan ben Rabbi Shimon differ. The school of Rab Janai maintained it lives 1,000 years, at the end of which a fire issues from its nest and burns it up. Yet as much as an egg is left, and it grows new limbs and lives again. Rab Judan ben Rab Shimon said, it lives 1,000 years, at the end of which its body is consumed and its wings drop off. Yet as much as an egg is left, whereupon it grows new limbs and lives again. Not helpful.
But it says clearly that Chava gave all the other animals to eat as well.
Right, yeah.
There's no why. There's no reason given.
Yeah. So, well, I mean, it could be. I mean, okay, yeah. It's not clear. We need to have a better explanation exactly what the 1 second. That's
Well,
where in their Bereshis Rabbah, right?
Bereshis Rabbah 19 5.
Okay, 1 second. 19:5, huh? 1 second.
It does add the idea of death. Rashi doesn't explicitly say anything about death.
All right.
It adds that it caused them to die except for the phoenix.
Right.
But that's all it seems to really add. The whole story about the phoenix doesn't really seem to be relevant.
Did she give to all the animals? Did they all die?
All except the phoenix.
All of the animals. So there's no animals at all on the earth.
No, they didn't necessarily die immediately. They would just not live forever. Up until then, they could have lived forever. Once they had to eat from the Eitz Hadas, then they were subject to Misa at some point, not necessarily instantaneously.
Okay, so that's what it means when I say it will die.
Right, which gets back to the trick of the serpent. If we understand that you shall die does not mean you'll die immediately, then the trick of the
What
serpent,
did he prove? Right, right. What did he prove?
nothing. Because she wouldn't have died immediately anyway.
Right. Okay. So that needs a little bit more work exactly what the kavanah was. Okay.
And did Chava understand what was meant by that term to die that we just defined? Did she see it that like that too?
I
She didn't know
imagine so.
they didn't know what it was. Nobody died yet.
Yeah, but did she understand it at all?
It's a
Yeah.
concept she had no familiarity with.
Right, yeah. But she has the wisdom of it from eating the apple or the fruit.
Then it would be too late. I mean, again, if they didn't understand the punishment, right, or the consequence, then they wouldn't be held responsible. So I imagine in the command not to eat, and if they would die. Must be some understanding of what the ramifications of that would be.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Well, I mean, the whole
So,
topic of what did Adam and Chava know is very difficult because ostensibly they knew nothing, but somehow they knew a lot. They knew more than we know. So there was some kind of process by which they gained knowledge that we're not privy to.
Yeah, I mean, again, what specific knowledge are we referring to at this point?
Well, I mean, I'm saying in general, Eliezer's saying she didn't know about death because it never happened yet. Well, how did she know to speak Hebrew? How did she know, how to, what?
did she speak Hebrew?
Well, she spoke something. It says she said. How
Mhm.
did she know a language? Who taught her?
Right. So that the Gemara mentions that everything that HaKadosh Baruch Hu created during the Ma'aseh Bereshis was created in its full maturity.
In what?
Everything was created fully mature.
Ah,
In our current language, everything was pre-programmed, right? Everything was pre-programmed.
mhm.
So then the knowledge of death was pre-programmed. The knowledge that when it said you shall surely die doesn't mean immediately could also have been pre-programmed.
Yeah, that
So then how could the Nachash prove that it didn't happen, that you
Yeah,
didn't die?
Yeah, that's the point that I'm making.
well,
Yeah, that's why I asked what she knew.
right.
What did she know?
Right. Right. Okay, let's continue on.
Okay, so should I read Rashi on 7 or go back to the Chumash?
Yeah, let's go back to the Chumash. Yeah, thanks.
Okay, so I'll reread 7. And the eyes of both of them were opened, and they realized that they were naked, and they sewed together a fig leaf and made themselves aprons. They heard the sound of Hashem God walking in the garden toward the direction of the sun. And the man and his wife hid from Hashem God among the trees of the garden. Hashem God called out to the man and said to him, "Where are you?" He said, "I heard your voice in the garden, and I was afraid because I am naked, so I hid." And he said, that is, Hashem said, "Who told you that you are naked? Have you eaten of the tree from which I commanded you not to eat?" The man said, "The woman whom you gave to be with me, she gave me of the tree, and I ate." Hashem God said to the woman, "What is this that you have done?" The woman said, "The serpent deceived me, and I ate." And Hashem God said to the serpent, "Because you have done this, more cursed are you than all the animals of the beasts. Well, that's interesting. More cursed. That implies that they're all cursed.
Well, the question is, mikol behema mikol chaya, meaning it. I'm not sure if the call is going more cursed than them, or meaning from all the behemoths and from all the chayas. The question is what the call is going on.
Oh, I see. The translation is not good. Yeah.
Yeah.
It says
You
here,
have done
be
this.
thou, it says here, be thou cursed above all beasts and above every animal in the field.
Right, but that's not the way I would translate it based on what the rabbi just said. I would translate it as because you've done this, you are cursed. Aside from all the animals and all the beasts.
Yeah, but maybe it's worthwhile. Take a look at Rashi. The translation is going, I think, according with what the Rashi is teaching us here. Look, mikol behema, mikol chaya sasada.
Let's see. Bye, Judy. Okay, that's 14. Because you have done this, from here we see that we do not turn over, i.e. scrutinize a case from all angles for the acquittal of an inciter. For if God had asked the serpent, why did you do this? It could have responded when confronted with the words of the master to do one thing and the words of the disciple to do another. Whose words do you listen to? Okay, so that's a side point. More cursed than all the animals and all the beasts of the field. If he was more cursed than domestic animals, is it not true all the more so than the beasts? Our rabbis established this midrash, i.e. our rabbis use this verse which demands interpretation in the tractate Bechoros, to teach us that the term of gestation of a serpent is 7 years. What? That's what it says. I don't know. What is that? What's that teach us, Rabbi? I'm a little lost by this Rashi.
So, it's strange that the part of the curse is that they have this necessity of pregnancy, right? They have the necessity of this pregnancy. So, the Nachash has the worst, let's put it this way, the most lengthy gestation period of 7 years, right?
Right.
So therefore, it has a greater curse than all the behemoths and all the chayas as well.
Well, what is the? It seems to be asking a question on the verse. It says, if he's more cursed than the animals, is it not true that he's more cursed than the wild beasts? That would seem to imply that that there's a redundancy by saying and all the beasts. But Rashi doesn't go anywhere with it.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but I think, look, the Nachash was a chaya. The Nachash was a chaya, not a behema.
Right.
So knowing that the Nachash was a chaya, you don't have to mention anything about a behema, meaning because if it itself is going to be cursed, so you know that if it says Mikol Chayas, if you know Mikol Chayas, so then you must know that when the pasuk mentions about Kol Bechema, it's trying to teach us something. That's the question that the Chazal have on the pasuk. Meaning, since the Nachash was a Chaya itself, and if you say it's cursed above and beyond all the Chayas, so that should include the behemoths as well. So why don't you have to mention anything about behemoths? The fact that the Torah mentions something about behemoths is leaving this pasuk open for a certain drasha. But to tell you the truth, I don't follow it so well myself. To tell you the truth, the logic of the Kol V'chomer that Rashi is presenting here, I'm not really sure of it. I'm not clear about it. I mean, why should that follow? It could be like this. Maybe it's like this because of the Nachash, who was a Chaya. If the behemoth also was cursed because of the Nachash, right? So much more so the Chayas will be cursed because of the Nachash. Since the Nachash itself was a Chaya, and it says that, look, because of you, Nachash, a Chaya, the behemoths are cursed. So certainly the Chayas, which you are one of, they certainly should be cursed.
Right.
Does that make some sense?
Not to me.
All right.
I don't.
I'm not 100% comfortable with my understanding of the Kol V'chomer here, but
Yeah.
maybe I can maybe work on it. If I get anywhere, I'll let you know.
All right. So the footnote mentions Bechoros 8a and Torah Tamima. Yeah, there's actually a very lengthy footnote here that talks about this. The main point being the 7 years, how it gets to 7 years.
Okay, that's okay.
So maybe that's what we're missing. Maybe the whole thrust of the Kol V'chomer is to get you to the 7 years, not to clarify what's going on with the animals. I don't know. Anyway, if you
Right.
you want to look into it, it'd be great. But
Yeah, I'll see if I have some time to look into it. Like I said, if I get anywhere, I'll let you know.
Okay, thank you. All right, so back to where were we? We were on Pasuk 9.
Right.
Hashem called out to the man and said to him, "Where are you?" He said, "I heard your voice in the garden, and I was afraid because I am naked, so I hid." He said, "Who told you that you were naked? Have you eaten from the tree which I commanded not to eat?" The man said, "The woman you gave me to be with me, she gave me of the tree, and I ate." Hashem said to the woman, "What is that you've done?" The woman said, "The serpent deceived me, and I ate." Hashem said to the serpent, "Because you have done this, more cursed are you than all the animals and all the beasts of the field. Upon your belly you shall go, and dust shall you eat all the days of your life. I will put enmity between you and the woman, and between your offspring and her offspring. He will pound you on the head, and you will hiss at his heel." To the woman he said, okay, this is it. To the woman he said, "I will greatly increase your suffering and your pregnancy. In pain shall you bear children, and your craving shall be for your husband, and he shall rule over you. To Adam he said, because you listened to the voice of your wife and ate of the tree about which I commanded you, saying, you shall not eat of it. Accursed is the ground because of you. Through suffering shall you eat of it all the days of your life. Thorns and thistles shall it sprout for you, and you shall eat the herb of the field. By the sweat of your brow shall you eat bread until you return to the ground from which you were taken, for you are dust, and to dust shall you return. Okay, so now Rashi,
Right.
on verse 16, you're suffering. Atzvonech, zet tsar gadol gidul banim. This is the pain of raising children. Interesting, raising children.
Right. The raising of children.
Veheronecha, and your pregnancy, zet tsar ha-ibur. This is the pain of pregnancy. Be'etzev, taldi banim. In pain shall you bear children. Ze tsar ha-leda. This is the pain of giving birth.
Mhm.
Okay, and this is all reference to Eruvin 100b.
Right.
Okay, so El Ishach Tishukasach, and your craving shall be for your husband. Lisash Mish, for relations. Af al Pikain, but even so, Ein Lach Meitzach. You do not have a forehead, i.e., you do not have the nerve l'sav o befeh, to claim from him verbally, i.e., to ask him to have relations with you. Ella, rather, hu yim shal bach, he will rule over you. Hakol mimenu, it is all from him, i.e., the initiative is his alone. Below mimech, and not from you. Tishukasech, your craving, ta'avasech, means your desire. Kamo vinaf shokeka. This is like, and his soul craves, which is a reference to Isaiah. Okay, that's 16. Now 17. Arura.
This is talking about Adam.
Right. So that's all. That's the end of the discussion about Chava. Okay, so Arura ha'adama ba'avorecha. Accursed is the ground because of you. Ma'ala lecha, it brings up for you devarim arurim, accursed things. Kigon zevuvim, such as flies. V'far oshim, and fleas. Une malim, and ants. Mashal. This is a parable, or this can be explained by a parable. Liotse visar bus ra'a. To one who goes forth to evil behavior. V'haberios mikalalos. And the people curse. Shadayim shenakat mehem. The breast from which he nursed. Person does evil and people curse his mother. What does that
Right,
have
what-
to do? Oh,
what's
because
that have to do
cursing
with
the
this?
ground? The ground is like his
Excuse me?
mother?
Excuse me?
So the analogy of the metaphor is the ground is like his mother?
Yeah, well, we came from the ground, right? You know, Adama, that's why we call Adam. We came from the Adama.
Right. Okay. Okay, so 18, we're still on Adam. The coats vidar dar tats miach lach. Thorns and thistles it shall sprout for you. Haaretz, the earth. Ke shetiv ra'ena minei zeraim. When you sow it with types of seeds, tats miach kutz vidar dar, it shall sprout thorns and thistles. That is kun das v'akavios, artichokes and cardoons. I don't know what cardoons. Oh, let's see. Rashi translates cotim with the Old French cardoons,
Yeah, I'm not sure what that is.
which can mean thistles in general. Artichokes and thistles.
Thorns and thistles. Thorns
Oh, and the artichoke is a thistle-like plant. Okay,
Okay.
so it's
and
giving examples, I guess, of plants that are like that are difficult to access. I don't know. I've never seen an artichoke growing. V'hein ne'e chalin, and they can be eaten. Al yedei tikkun, through preparation. In other words, it's difficult. You have to prepare them.
Right, you have to put effort towards getting their food. It won't be readily available.
V'achalta es asev hasadeh, and you shall eat the herb of the field. Uma kalala ki zu, and what is the curse in this statement? V'halo bi baba racha ne'amar lo. But was it not said to him in the blessing, Hine nasati lachem es kol esev zo rea zera v'gomer. Behold, I have given you every herb yielding seed, etc. Ella ma amur kan. But what is said here, Birosh ha-inyan, at the beginning of the subject,
Right.
Arura ha-adama ba'avurecha be'itavun toch lena. Accursed is the ground because of you. Through suffering shall you eat of it. V'achar ha'itzavon, and afterwards the suffering. V'kutz v'dar hatzmiach lach. Thorns and thistles it shall sprout for you. Kishetizra'ena, when you will sow it, kitnios, with legume. Oh, kitnios, when you will sow it with legumes. O yarkos gina, or vegetables of the garden. He satzmiach lach, it will sprout for you. Kotzim v'darim, thorns and thistles. Ushar isvei hasadeh, and other herbs of the field, i.e. wild herbs. Va'al karchacha, and against your will, toach lame, you will have to eat them.
Okay, very good. We're gonna go over this again next time, a little bit deeper, Mr. Shem. Good. We'll have to stop now here anyway. So, Mr. Shem, tomorrow's Erev Shabbos. Anyone wants to join us? I guess 9:30. We'll speak about the Parshat Shavua. In the meantime, we should have a good afternoon, and we'll be starting
Thank you.
Furst here shortly, Mr. Shem.
Yeah.
Amen. Thank you, Rabbi.
As a matter of interest, just in case